Good afternoon. Welcome back to your BOGO week. If you're catching this live or the recording, either way, I'm glad you're here. I'm Christy Gammon, your doTERRA wellness advocate. And just to make sure we're all on the same page today, the information that I'm sharing, you're always welcome to learn about the oils on any day at any time. And that's why I archive all of these videos. But if you're looking for today's special, as far as buying today's BOGO, then this information applies specifically to Friday, November 20th, 2021. I'm sorry, November 19th. In my mind, a lot of times BOGO week ends on Friday. And so the end of the BOGO period is the 20th. So I keep saying the 20th. It's the 19th because we don't end until tomorrow. So make sure to come back one more time tomorrow for the final deal for this November 2021 BOGO week. And just right off the bat, I do want to say we still have a few BOGO boxes in stock. If that's something that you've been thinking about all week, you still do have a limited opportunity to purchase the BOGO box. And especially after I do another deal, after we unveil another deal here, you might think, man, I want all these oils. And so the BOGO box is always the way to go. You're going to save the most money and you're going to get all the deals at once. So I still highly recommend the BOGO box. But let's go ahead and talk in more detail about today's deal. You're going to buy Copaiba. I have to just open it immediately and smell it. One of my tree oils. Buy Copaiba, $35. Get Wintergreen for free. You're going to save $24. Oh my goodness. Now, people smell different things when they smell the Wintergreen. Some people smell a menthol, like a medicinal minty scent, and I'm straight up root beer with this. And it's because the dominant ingredient in this oil is the methyl salicylate, which can be used, and it used to be used in its pure form to make root beer or birch beer, very similar in properties. But our marketplace has turned to so many synthetics, you're probably not getting the real thing. But I'm always just so charmed when I open up my birch or when I open up my wintergreen, and I just get this sweet, yummy root beer smell. And you can mix wintergreen with some wild orange in your diffuser, and it smells, I think, just like root beer. So fun. So let's talk about Copaiba first for a minute. This is a tree oil. It's harvested from the tree. Like frankincense and myrrh, they actually tap the side of the tree and it secretes out almost like maple syrup. This is a very unique way to harvest the oil. And our Copaiba was discovered in South America. I have friends who were delivering clean water solutions to the people of Brazil and happened upon a little tiny sample of this oil. And the people in that region were using it for a variety of uses, one of which was relief. And without saying too much, my friend struggles with some really intense need for relief in his lower back area due to degenerative discs. And he had been taking CBD for quite a while. He had found a place overseas where he was really pleased with their offering. He was paying about $400 a month for a supply, and it was bringing him some relief, but he felt he had gotten to a point where that was the best he could do. And then he tried this little sample when he was in Brazil, and it was just like a miracle for him. And so he brought, as hard as it was to do, he brought some of his sample to the founders of doTERRA and said, do you think there's any way we could bring this to the US? We could make this one of our essential oils. And so they went to work, and lo and behold, he was surprised, like all of us at convention, the year that this product was announced. And we're so grateful for this essential oil. It really does do miracles in the body. And it's just amazing to be able to have access to it in such an affordable, practical way. So a lot of people are excited about CBD and what it can do. And so why would we invest in this alternative? Why would doTERRA focus on something other than that? There's certainly just a huge demand in the marketplace for CBD. There's a lot of hype around it, and some people really do get good results from it. But why would we turn to Copaiba instead? And so I've got 3 points for you. First up, we are an essential oil company, and Copaiba is an essential oil. CBD is not. It's also a plant extract, but in order to deliver it in the marketplace in something that looks like essential oil, the extract is just, it's suspended in a carrier oil. So, I mean, we love using carrier oils. That's how we make all of our rollers. And so for convenience, for applying to anyone with sensitive skin or children or pets or the elderly, on and on and on. There's so many reasons why we love our oils with carrier. But when you're comparing apples to apples, this is a full bottle, 15 milliliters of pure essential oil. And so you're getting about 250 drops of that pure oil in here. And if you want to take some of it and put it in carrier oil and make a roller, then by all means, go for it. But what you're buying is the pure essential oil, versus if you buy a similar size bottle of CBD, you're just getting a fraction of an amount of that plant extract. Most of what's in that bottle is the carrier oil. So that's just good to know for comparison. Then we have the purity discussion around CBD because of the way that it's extracted from the plant, and the molecules are just so tiny. There is no possible way to extract the CBD in such a way that it never has any THC. And that's the more harmful ingredient. So if you're going directly to the marijuana plant, that's the THC. You pull the CBD out, you can't do it without getting trace amounts, at least, of the THC. And then it just depends on who's harvesting your CBD. Are they being as careful as they possibly can be? What else is in there with the extract? You just don't know how much THC you're going to get. The truth is you're always going to get some. And so if drug testing is an issue, you would never want to have a positive test for a drug that could get you in trouble. You would also never want to experience those effects that the THC can have on your brain. That's never why somebody is choosing CBD. If they wanted that, they would just go directly to marijuana, whether it be for medicinal or recreational purposes. You would just use the marijuana if your desire was for the THC. People who are choosing CBD are legitimately looking for an answer, for relief in their body, in their mind. And so they're not looking for that THC. And unfortunately, they're always going to get trace amounts. And so because of doTERRA's commitment to purity and never wanting to cross that line, that was a major factor in their decision not to pursue the CBD as a product offering for us. And then finally, you heard me earlier this week talk about pathway, and that's something that doTERRA has been studying the past few years with partners in pharmaceuticals and the pharmaceutical industry. Just learning what do these substances do as they make their way through the body. So think about pathway in terms of tracing a path through the body, following this essential oil in this case through the body. Where does it go? How does it connect? What impact is it making? And so final point for Copaiba in comparison with CBD is the connection that it makes inside the body. And for Copaiba, it's making a direct connection. It's talking to your cells directly, whereas CBD has to make an indirect connection. It travels a little more throughout the body, and that's why it works well for some people, because we're all a little different. For some people, it finds its way. It makes its way to where it needs to go, and you still get that desired result. For about half the people, it just kind of gets lost in the body. It doesn't get to where it needs to be. That indirect connection does not pan out, and you're not experiencing the relief that you hoped for. And so that whole 50-50 chance is also not something that sits well with doTERRA. What we pride ourselves on is having consistent results over time, and which is really miraculous when you're talking about plant extracts, because plants are, varied in terms of the soil they grow up in and the climate and the weather that they're exposed to, the way that they're nourished as they're growing. There's so many different factors that can affect that plant and the final yield that it's going to produce. And so the fact that doTERRA can guarantee the same results, even from plant extracts over time, is really a very big deal. And that's part of the research that we've been participating in the past couple of years. Part of it was unrolled at convention this year, and there'll be more to come. But if you watched my post-convention series, the very first video that I did talked about this body of research, which began with lavender. And it's going to be rolling out with many of our essential oils. But the results of it, just bottom line summary, is that where we're landing is with a pharmaceutical grade product, and one that you can count on for a percentage of results that far exceeds what is acceptable and what is the norm or the standard for our FDA approved pharmaceutical products in the United States. doTERRA is far out exceeding those expectations. And so I get very excited about just the integrity and there's another word that I wanted to say. Just, I guess, the level that it's bringing to our offering. We're not just that, roll your eyes, alternative to real medicine. This is very real and very effective and deserves all the credit that it's starting to get. And so that's so exciting to me. So there's just a little tutorial for you. We can talk more. I try not to get into all of the alphabet soup. We can go further. We can start talking about BCP and beta caryophyllene and what that does in this essential oil as far as its chemical constituents that make it even better than anything else you're going to find on the market. But you let me know if you're intrigued in this product. We can talk more in depth one-on-one. But just to hit a couple more highlights, why, when you get this bottle of goodness, why am I going to use it? How am I going to use it? So physically, it's very high in antioxidant content for you. It's wonderful restorative to the skin. I like putting it in my skincare routine. It definitely brings relief with a focus on the muscles. It helps with inflammatory response, and then also soothing anxious feelings. So emotionally, it's known as the oil of unveiling. So sometimes it's going to bring things to the surface that you didn't realize were down below, or maybe you've been stuffing, and it just helps those emerge. And if there's any anxiety that comes up around that kind of emotional processing, it's going to help you deal with that. It's just going to bring a level of ease to that emotional processing that's very soothing, just like it is to the physical body. And so then let's take a few minutes and talk about Wintergreen. Just take the opportunity to smell that again. And so what a great partner oil. So we're talking this week about better together. You want to combine your Copaiba with Wintergreen for complete relief. Now, Wintergreen speaks to your bones, to your muscles, to your joints, to your cartilage. It speaks in my reference book specifically to the shoulder. If you've ever experienced a frozen shoulder or issues with your rotator cuff, it's especially effective in that area. And then it's also wonderful for the skin, for your kidneys, and for your lymph system. So think about how those three might work together. But any type of skin issue where your lymph system is maybe overtaxed and it needs to release. So love on your kidneys, love on your lymph system, love on your skin, be proactive with the wintergreen. And then I talked a little bit about that methyl salicylate ingredient that's really dominant in the chemistry and the chemical profile for wintergreen. It's that makes a delicious root beer. It's also that brings almost a cortisone-like effect to the wintergreen. So that's how powerful this oil is. And then emotionally, it's known as the oil of surrender. And I wanted to highlight very quickly another reference book. I talked about another way to think about better together yesterday is with your oils and your reference books. So this is my favorite emotional reference. This is Essential Emotions, and I'm quoting from it all the time. That's where I'm coming up with wintergreen is the oil of surrender. And so when you think about physical pain in the body and all the relief that wintergreen can bring to your physical body, think parallel with your emotions and in a spiritual sense. So if you're recovering from deep pain and processing through that, surrender is such an important concept. And so I think about someone recovering from just a life-altering injury. And so maybe they have to be retaught how to walk or how to speak or how to feed themselves, different things like that. So characteristics of being able to rely on divine grace, being teachable in those moments, and emerging stronger than you were before. I just get this beautiful picture of someone who's been knocked down, but who is fighting their way back. They're choosing to get back up and process through and come out on the other side stronger than they were before. That's your wintergreen oil. So I hope everybody's as excited as I am about this beautiful pairing for today. Two oils that are amazing in their own rights, but even better together. Buy your Copaiba, spend $35, get wintergreen for free, savings of $24. If you need help opening your own account, placing an order, if you just have questions about how you might incorporate these two oils in your own daily regimen, whatever the case, reach out anytime. I'm here for you. I'd be happy to support you. So make sure you meet me back here tomorrow. We're down to one final oil. So we know tomorrow, yay, finally we get to buy Rose Touch, and we're going to get two oils for free. So make sure you meet me back here tomorrow and we can go over all of those details and complete this BOGO week. I'll look forward to spending that time with you. In the meantime, here's to your continued health and wellness. Take care.